Hi, I'm Rachel, one of the hosts of the Strange and Beautiful Network. On our network, we specialize in unscripted podcasts like Feast, Sheath, and Shatter, a book chat podcast that feels like hanging out with your best girlfriends and a good, or not so good, book. Come in 81 Kilo, the only currently in production podcast about Forever Night, the 1990s vampire cop show that started it all. And Strange and Beautiful Book Club, our first podcast featuring books and movies in the sci-fi, fantasy, and horror genres that you've probably never heard of but shouldn't miss. Join us today anywhere podcasts are streamed.
You're listening to Champion Cinema with Chris and Chris.
Hi folks, welcome to Champion Cinema. It feels weird to say. I'm Chris with a Condors.
And I am, I've forgotten the
Keith David, for God's sake.
Hello. Edit that out. I'm Chris with a Keith David K.
My co-host is 70.
Hello. Who am I again?
You're the one with the key. Yeah, this week, this was supposed to, because it's the 31st when we're recording this was supposed to be going up like the middle of January, but we've been fanning around rebranding the show and such, so...
We've been workshopping it and approaching focus groups.
Team meetings with the management and all that jazz. So yeah, this was supposed, because like Carpenter and Sammo Hung both had birthdays this month, so we're going to be looking at Eastern Condors and They Live.
Champion Cinema.
So Eastern Condors, released 1987, runs for 1 hour and 38 minutes, directed, of course, by the great Sammo Hung. It stars Sammo Hung. Well, let's go the good guys first. You got Sammo Hung, Yoon Byung, Lam Ching Ying, Joyce Cadenzi, Charlie Chin. James Tien has a little cameo as not a good guy, but a bit of a shithead.
Yeah.
You got two directors in the movie, Corey Yun and Yoon Wo Ping of supporting roles, and the bad guys, you got Yoon Wah, Yasuaki Kurata, Billy Chow, and our old pal Dick Wei.
Mental.
It's an insane cast, and like you think there's still some people missing from that. Like obviously no Jackie.
Yeah.
He would have been off at this time, I guess, doing Project A2.
Yeah.
And there's still, people like Richard and stuff. I was thinking, who would you want in that isn't in it? And I was thinking, like, the main guy that's missing from kind of like the...
Yeah, like the Lucky Stars sort of crew.
Yeah, the Lucky Stars crew. It's like Eric Zhang and Richard and I think they'd be too broad for it, though.
Yeah.
If they were in for some comedy, it would be way too broad. Cause
it would change the feel of the movie, wouldn't it?
Because, Hong Kong is well known for brutal violence mixed with slapstick comedy, but I don't know, just there's certain bits in this film that like hit that gritty mark where if it cut straight to Richard and pulling a silly face, I'd be like, nah, this is too much.
Yeah, I think even if they like played it straight, I think the anticipation would be there that something funny is going to happen.
Exactly.
And it would make the whole film feel a bit weird.
Yeah, exactly. So what is the plot of Eastern Condors?
It's, set in 1976. A group of Chinese Americans that are serving prison time are given a second chance to win back their freedom by taking part in a top-secret mission to head over to Vietnam to destroy an abandoned US arsenal before it falls into the wrong hands.
So this was Sammo's follow-up from the previous year with Millionaires Express, another massive film, for the time, with Sammo was kind of on a roll at this point. I guess everywhere. Golden Harvest was just on a roll in the 80s when you think about it, with Jackie being at his height and stuff.
I think it's just like these two films are like him stretching his muscles a little bit, this is what I can do, because there's some big moments in this film. Like really, even just simple stuff like the plane at the start of the movie and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, obviously I know they didn't get in it and fly or anything, but like just being at an airport and having access to a big cargo plane and stuff. It's mad.
You've got especially the last 30 minutes is just non-stop explosions for about 15 of those minutes. And then you've got that big fight scene in I don't know where the hell they would have shot that, like the actual base where all the missiles are and stuff.
Yeah, it must be like a soundstage sort of deal, right? I guess.
Yeah, but it just looks like you don't see that size
scale. No.
Yeah, it looks giant. Maybe it's just clever camera work, but it just looks absolutely giant.
Yeah. I was wondering, it gave me the vibes of speaking of Project A2, like films like that, like the big spaces that they had and stuff, and I don't know, I wonder if some big studio had opened in Hong Kong recently
Well,
that had access to stuff like that? Or
Like usually when it's like in Project A, in Project A2, I think, and Project A, I think like Golden Harvest used to use Shaw Brothers backlots, like when Shaw Brothers went out of business.
Yeah.
Like all that studio space still existed. So I don't know if maybe it was shot there.
Yeah.
Because they did have that was all in house at Shaw Brothers, so they had a
Yeah.
lot of space to shoot movies. I don't know.
yeah, interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
But yeah, it's an epic movie, and I was just this time when I watched it, took note of the, when it's introducing all the characters with the mugshots and stuff.
Yeah.
And you see all those shots of what look like scenes in the prison.
Yeah.
So I was I was looking it up, and IMDb mentions this as well. And I also mentioned the original trailer, which I don't think I'd ever seen before.
You're right, yeah.
So I watched it on the Blu-ray. The original trailer is about 4 minutes, and a good chunk of that is all deleted scenes.
Yeah, I've heard it. Is it like the original cut? The film was 4 hours long or something.
Probably, But imagine there was a. It is an epic in feel, and it feels epic, the film, because it's a big war movie. But I can imagine there was probably a long, big, epic war movie in there somewhere. I imagine it was probably over 2 hours, because it was the whole setup is gone basically that was supposed to be there. It was supposed to set up everyone's character in prison first, because when you first meet Samo, him and Korean's character seem to have a history. He's like, I'm sorry about yesterday, don't worry about it. And you're like, what?
Yeah, there's some hints about Samo being wrongly framed or something. In at least in the version I watched, some sort of suggestion he's had a raw deal basically, because he's been sentenced to 30 years in prison and stuff. But I don't know, I kind of got the feel he was framed or something, or maybe something like that going on as the subtext.
It is good though that it kind of shows how so much of a good filmmaker Sam was, that even though all that setup and character development was deleted, he still does a good job of kind of giving you the bullet points when they're all lined up on the bench.
Yeah.
And I mean, you get to know all the characters in 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you really do get a feel for the characters, that they're distinguished, and you kind of very quickly get a feel of each, what each person's fears and motivations are and stuff, and that.
Yeah,
so, it's great for that.
Especially when Charlie Chin's asking everyone what they're going to do with their money, and you get everyone's different reactions and stuff. You get the hot-headed brother and all that stuff. And his little brother. I always thought Charlie Chin, from My Lucky Stars and all that, I always thought he's almost like a dead ringer for Chow Yun-fat in certain angles.
Yeah, definitely. Certainly, I mean, whether it's just because he's got guns, but in the end scene, when he's bombing about with the guns and that, I probably thought God,
because in this film he wields 2 M16s at the end, and I'm like, where was him movie with him as Chow Yun-fat's brother?
They should have just done that, shouldn't they? Yeah that would be mad.
I just never see anyone bring that up though. On Bale Logan's old comedies, I never hear him mention that. But I'm like, it's so obvious. He looks exactly like him. Not exactly, but a passing resemblance, definitely.
I think he does really good in this movie though as well. In terms of, because he's always he plays a certain character, doesn't he? Basically,
he's playing the same character he plays in My Lucky Stars. Basically, there's a kind of slimy Lothario.
Yeah. But it's done well, and then he has a really cool bit at the end and stuff.
He goes out a badass, pretty much. Spoilers. We'll be getting into spoilers, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
But let's talk about Samo's physique in the movies. Very, very slim down in this film compared to his other movies.
Yeah, he looks sharp as fuck in this film.
He does.
It's unmistakable, the look of this film. I think if you ever see a screen any sort of screen grab of Sammo Hung in this movie, you know immediately it's this film.
Yeah. He looks very, because he's got a very short hair as well, which he never normally has, and he's all slimmed down. The official reason that I've seen a bunch of times is so he could perform the more acrobatic movements in the movie, and I'm like, I don't know if I buy that, because he's look at him in My Lucky Stars. He's probably about 50 pounds heavier than that. And he's doing fucking backflips off tables and stuff. He's always been acrobatic. That's his shtick.
Yeah.
Because Joyce Cadenzi would go on to become his wife, and I've always heard the joke that, I don't know if it was Bale Logan mentioned this somewhere, it's in a book, but that he slimmed down to impress her.
I could believe that.
Yeah, but they didn't get married till the 90s.
Yeah, I was going to say it's eventual wife, isn't it, really? I always remember reading that. They met, but they didn't marry or anything. Yeah.
I think she got married to someone else a few years later and then retired. Because she only made movies up to 91.
A handful, yeah.
And then as usual in Hong Kong, an actress marries a rich businessman or something and they're just forced to retire.
Yeah, sad, isn't it, that about her? Because
she's so good.
Yeah, such a badass in this film.
Yeah. And speaking of looks, Yoon Bio in the movie, I've always thought looks like he's been pulled straight out of an anime.
I always laugh. I mean, I always clap and laugh when Yoon Bio turns up in any movie anyway. It's usually my favourite point in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, he looks like some teen heartthrob or something.
He does.
It's great.
Yeah.
With his little quiff, like his quiff hairdo and stuff.
Yeah,
and
like he's parting over one eye, the big like blue trench coat, and his wacky bike with like speakers on it and balloons and stuff. It just feels like very Japanese, which Yumbio was a big heartthrob in Japan in the 80s. The Japanese girls loved Yumbio back then.
Maybe he's playing a type.
Maybe, yeah.
But yeah, as always, Yumbio just smashes his performance in this movie.
Yeah.
Like he's all these martial arts that he does, the athleticism on show, the acting, it's just top form. It's one of my favourite Yumbio movies, like easily.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favourite of his characters.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. Probably this and at least as far as the Sammo and Jackie movies go, this and Dragons Forever.
Yeah. Yeah, and then obviously just Wheels and Meals. It's hard to pick one, isn't it, really?
Yeah, yeah. And you wouldn't really think, like, you'd think of how he looks in Wheels on Meals compared to how he looks in this. It's like night and day, isn't it? He's like a little nerdy, bookish type in Wheels on Meals, and here he's like some anime badass. What was he? Which one I watch, just for a change, I watched the like export version on the Blu-ray, which would have been like the version over here on video, just because I wanted a classic dub.
Did you? Yeah.
And in that one, he's called Weasel.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what he's called.
Because he's credited as Rat.
Yeah.
But so I think that must be what he's called in the Hong Kong version, in the subtitles. But he's called Weasel in the dub version.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't catch his name in the version. So, I even though I own it on Blu-ray, I couldn't be asked to watch it on the TV. So I downloaded a copy and watched it.
What the fuck?
I should have just put the Blu-ray on.
Was it just so you could make notes easier?
Yeah, basically. And then when I played it, the subtitles didn't work. So I had to get like a subtitle file and force it to work on the thing, and it was this whole ordeal.
Blu-ray sitting right next to you, probably about 2 foot away.
Took us about 30 minutes to get the subtitles to work.
Weird bloody ass.
And then the subtitles were all annoying and stuff. Like I'm sure some of there were some weird glitches and people had random names and all sorts. I couldn't keep track. Although Sammo Hung was called Sean, which I think is in a dub version, isn't it? I don't.
No.
Is it not? Yeah, well, Sammo Hung was called Sean.
I don't remember being called Sean. This is like when what was John Woo called again when one the hard-boiled subtitles were like Jeff or something. No, was it Greg?
Greg. Yeah, well, he was called Sean. Charlie Chin was called Turbo, I think. It was very confusing.
Yeah, Jesus.
I don't know why I do this to myself.
I know, Jesus Christ. You got the Blu-ray, and I don't think I've watched the Blu-ray since I've got it actually, and like it looks stunning.
Oh yeah, they've massively cleaned it up, haven't they?
Yeah, it looks brand new. It's crazy. I will say though, it's amusing watching. Because I was looking up on the alternate versions, like seeing exactly what was different in the export version before I watched it, and like the bit at the start where Lam Ching Ying like shimmies up the flagpole is gone.
Really?
Yeah, probably just get it out for time and stuff.
Yeah, well, I did make note when I was watching it that the flag scene doesn't really serve a purpose apart from it just shows that he's like capable, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's a little character moment. Yeah, but it's kind of needless, I guess. Because really, Lam Ching Ying doesn't do much action in the movie.
No,
it's mainly just gunplay stuff with him, I guess. Yeah. And the other bits are like little bits of violence at the end. Like the bit, I'm kind of glad I didn't have to watch because it always makes us sick when Dick Ware's like standing on Joyce Cadenzi's stump and it's the rag is filling with blood and there's that awful sound effect. I fucking hate that.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty, that bit.
It is, yeah. But yeah, just little bits, and obviously I've never seen this bit before because the Eureka Blu-ray is the first time it's been fully uncut in this country because of the snake bit. And I was like, I don't remember this bit.
yeah, that's like, I guess that's just how it goes down in Hong Kong at the time. Like, animals weren't exactly known for having the best of times.
Yeah, I guess the fucking statute of limitations on snake murder was up. So the BBFC were like, all right, fine, whatever.
I assume the snake was probably dead already.
It kind of looks dead. It does look dead.
Because he kind of grabs it and it doesn't move a lot.
No.
So that's what I'm hoping anyway. Because I was like, oh, I love you, Yun Biao. Don't murder snakes.
Yeah, I think it's the fact that it's Yun Biao doing it.
Yeah, exactly. It hurts more. If it was Sammo Hung, I'd be like, nah. That's something Sammo would do.
Yeah. It's First thing he does in the morning, rip a snake up. A cup of coffee, rip a snake up.
But yeah, it's such a minging scene though. The like thready bit that's left.
Yeah.
Out.
Oh yeah, it's pretty good. And it's really pointless as well.
Yeah, like what's the message there? I don't know.
Yeah, because essentially, like for anyone who hasn't seen it, like Yubi was kind of chastising someone and like pointing in their face, then just reaches off into a bush, pulls out a snake, rips its head off, and throws it at them while like giving them a speech. I'm like, you have to rip a snake in half.
Like,
Jesus.
I guess it's trying to sell that they all think he's some sort of clown or a thief, or a huckster or something, but actually he's extremely capable. Maybe I don't know. That's kind of what they're going for, but it just doesn't work. And obviously I couldn't make any sense of it because my subtitles were probably just fucking out of the shop anyway.
Just gibberish.
Pretty sure he was talking about the price of tea or something at the time. I don't know. It was very hard to follow.
Speaking of the grot in the film, though, let's talk about like the violence and the action in the movie. Because, like, for the most part, like a few people, because you know it's a men on a mission movie, people are going to die.
Yeah.
For the most part, a few people get like the slow, I don't want to die, oh, you're going to be okay type of deaths. Maybe like 2.
Yeah.
The rest of the time, though,
yeah.
when someone dies in this film, it's bang, you're dead. No fanfare, get out.
Yeah, probably the most shocking one's got to be.
Spoilers, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to say. The lieutenant getting shot in the head, basically. Like, he does get shot in the head, right? Or it's kind of in the neck or something.
It's like in the shoulder, but in the throat, basically. Yeah, when Dick Way shoots him.
Yeah, but the way Lam Ching-in does it, like, fuck me, he goes down.
He just drops like a sack of shit, basically.
Such a shocking moment. Like, oh my god!
Because there's that moment which I kind of forgot about. Actually, I remember all the stuff at the end because like everyone just drops like flies every 2 minutes. Yeah. But the bit where there's a betrayal. Mm-hmm. And someone is just quickly shot in the back of the head and their brains just spray on the person in front of them's face.
Yeah, like that's, again, like, you know she's going to get a comeuppance.
Yeah.
But you don't anticipate it's right then.
No.
Basically, it's crazy.
She just like turns and goes, don't you look at me, I don't want to see your face bang.
There's so many times like that. Like the main girl, the gorilla girl, getting her hand chopped off.
Yeah. By Samo as well.
Yeah. Future missus chopping off a hand.
Yeah.
But again, it's just like, you don't kind of see it coming.
No.
So when it happens, you're like, fuck no.
It's because like it's realistic in a sense that like the panic of what they're going to do just sets in suddenly. They instantly start arguing and fighting over what they're going to do, and Samo just solves it by cutting a fucking hand off.
Yeah, crazy.
But yeah, there's just something about it's the same with those Italian like Nam movies and like Deer Hunter knockoffs. There's just something about foreign action movies dealing with like this. There's just a certain grit you only get from them that you never find in American ones.
Yeah, just slightly ramped up, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All of the action and stuff's really good in this film. Like, really, really good. I don't feel like they hammed it up too much with martial arts or anything. Well, until the very end, obviously. Well,
yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, the fight scenes are great, but I wouldn't say any of the fights in this are any of me like top 10 favorite fights. Because I think I just kind of wish there was more. And the fights aren't necessarily really they're not like 10-minute knockdown dragouts or anything.
No.
But what there is good though, and especially with Yumbio, he gets to do a lot of his classic acrobatics. There's one spin kick he does on Dick. I think it's Dick Way's fight, or maybe Yasuaki Kurata.
It's the guy before, yeah.
Yeah, and he does this spin kick that like looks like he's floating in midair for a bit, like really slowly. Yeah. He's not on a wire. It's such a weird movement he does.
Yeah, it's just kind of, is it like he does like a back spinning kick or something?
Yeah,
where it's like it looks crazy.
Like spins, kicks, misses, and then does a back kick. You think he does something similar in like one of the Lucky Stars movies, but here it just looks so like he's on a wire, but he's blatantly not. It's very
crazy.
Bizarre. Of course, at the end, you've got Dick Way and Billy Chow, the two hard bastards from like... Dick Way's kind of the hard bastard in the 80s, and Billy Chow kind of became the hard bastard towards the 90s.
Yeah.
But yeah, just two people you would not like to take a punch in the chest from.
Yeah, very hard hitting. I mean, the first kick Dick Way does is like crazy in the movie. It's like, as always, he's total like super fast legs and stuff.
Yeah.
But like you said, I think in some ways it is a shame that there isn't like an extended sort of fight between Dick Way and somebody else. It kind of cuts a little bit, and then obviously I do enjoy how him and Joyce Godenzi goes out, obviously they kind of like literally fight to the death, basically.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's different, I guess. But I just wish there was maybe a bit more of it.
Yeah, that's right. But I guess, Samuel was trying to make like a war movie, and I guess the martial arts is probably just there by proxy. You know what I mean? Like, well, I've got to do a fight. They've got to have fight scenes at the end. It's a Hong Kong action movie, but
don't you think though? Like, I mean, I wrote this down. Like, I feel like the ending almost feels like it does creep into feeling like a different movie. Like when they get into the underground bit, I just suddenly feel like, because of the tone shift and the location shift, like they're no longer in the jungle, they're in some like sort of urban, well not urban, but like this military complexy looking thing, and there's like more martial arts. I do feel like it's a bit of an unusual sort of juxtaposition for the rest of the movie.
I guess just that's the point where it's like it's the final reel. Here's the big fight at the end.
That everyone's waiting for.
Yeah, exactly, pretty much. Yeah.
Where I kind of wish maybe they just hadn't done that and just stuck to, the traditional setting and more gunplay and drama rather than just here's the martial arts. It's difficult because obviously I love the martial arts at the same time.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So it's like, I love it, but I also think maybe it's in a different movie.
Yeah.
Because somebody to definitely talk about is obviously the like giggling general, the laughing general, Yuen Wah's.
Yeah, Yuen Wah. He's trademark character.
Yeah, it's like his breakout role, isn't it? Basically, this
pretty
one.
much. Yeah, and he kind of plays a similar character in Dragons Forever.
Yeah.
Instead of a fan, he's got a cigar.
Yeah, basically, and he's like unexpectedly good at martial arts. Sort of, he's that kind of character.
That was another thing that was cut out of the export version as well. The bit where like him and Yuen Biao look at each other and he laughs, and then Yuen Biao mimics his laugh.
Oh yeah.
And then he kicks him. That bit was gone. Like he just kicks him instead of the. And I was like, that's weird. They got rid of some. The people was at the BBC was like, it's ruining the brutality of the scene. Comedy.
Right. Stop trying to make it light.
Tell you what though, that bit where he's trying to pull his shoulder blades apart. I know Yuen Biao was fine because he's flexible as out. He's like fucking made out of plasticine, but it always makes us wince.
Yeah, it's just because his back's like hyper extended and stuff. Like his shoulder blades. Like,
and the crunchy sound effects that they've added over the top of it.
I love though how he ends that fight basically. Like Yuen Biao like jumps up, strikes him like a fighting pose, and then just collapses. Just faints. Just he's just out. Great. And then Samu has to finish the fight.
Yeah, I do love the way the very excessive way the dispatch of Yuen Wah by just sticking a grenade in his mouth.
Like you could have just stabbed him, right?
Yeah, no, don't put a grenade in his mouth.
Total Samu.
You really shouldn't be throwing setting grenades off in a place that's like full of nukes.
No, it's true.
Yeah, I mean I know they're going to blow them all up anyway, but you don't want to be in there when an explosion goes off. You know
totally, it's a bit dangerous.
Anything else for the finale or anything else we're moving to highlights?
I mean we've kind of covered it, but I just kind of want to swing back around the grotty bit with the little kids playing Russian roulette.
Oh yeah, I always forget about that bit. Yeah. That's like Bullet in the Head has its own version of the deer hunter scene. Yeah. Samuel's version is two kids with a revolver shooting prisoners.
Yeah, because they're like, obviously, rather than the traditional Russian roulette, they're just pointing the gun at somebody else's head. Yeah. Which is like kind of takes the point out of the game, I guess.
It's pretty brutal.
Pretty sadistic. And then obviously it's a nice setup to one of the little kids kind of betraying, when, I can't remember which character it is, but he goes to stab the little kid, realizes it's a kid, and
he says like get out of here, and the kid just shanks him basically.
Yeah, and it's like I mean I've always heard stuff like this, and I don't know any actual testimonies and that, but like that's the kind of shit that kind of went down in Vietnam towards the end of the war, like little kids approaching like GIs with sticks of dynamite and stuff, and all that sort of nasty shit. So cool bit in the movie though.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, very shocking though.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like, cool as in like highlights.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Highlights the brutality of war, I guess.
Yeah, it's a really well done scene. Really, like smacks you in the guts.
Yeah, definitely.
It reminds you, it's like it's a movie taking place in something like in a real place in a real situation. Did yours have the title card at the start that says like, this is a version of what could have happened?
No, I don't think so. No.
Basically, what all bios should have, all biopics should have at the start of the movies.
Yeah, what could have happened.
So what about highlights from the movie?
Yeah, it's quite a few. Like, it's only a really small bit, but just so nicely done, and like could have been so bad. The bit when they escape on the back of the ox cart.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I just really like the way it was filmed and stuff. When it like tips over and they all come off it and stuff, and it's all in slow motion, and you can just kind of say it's such a simple stunt, but like they all did it for real.
Yeah.
But it kind of looked safe, and it just looked like a really nicely done stunt with a cart flying out and them all just like flying out of it at the same time. Really cool.
The one thing I don't understand though, the guy who's like kind of got mental problems with the one to rescue. Turns out he's fine. He was just playing a character the entire time to fool the Viet Cong.
Yeah.
Then why the fuck did he give away that he was being taken in the van?
It just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. It's like they came up with the idea later that he's actually like an undercover operative.
Yeah. It's kind of falls into criticisms that some of this stuff where I thought I don't get his inclusion in this movie at all. Basically, yeah, a bit weird. But yeah, a lot of my highlights are just like the stunt stuff, basically. Like, I love Yuen Biao jumping from the massive tree.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, again, a big wide shot. And I know, obviously, he's landing on like mats and stuff, but I still think, fuck me, he's very high up.
He's very, very high.
Yeah.
It's like that bit in Millionaires Express where Samo just jumps from that giant tree at the start in his underpants.
Yeah, it's like freezing cold and stuff. Yeah, crazy. So, yeah, there's just a lot of like kind of stunts that you'd almost like just take at face value and like not appreciate. Like, you know, blink and you miss them, the stunts, but it's like, God, I don't know, a lot of setup and like thought must have gone into how they're going to do them and stuff.
Yeah, and like what we say about, you know, all those cannibal movies we've talked about, like, can't be easy shooting in the jungle. I'm sure it was blazing hot. You know, you're doing, and it's a Sambo movie, so you're doing take after take, taking like real hits. Like that one kick that Yuen Biao gives that guy in slow motion, and it hits, he like does this roundhouse directly in the guy's jaw, and he's literally wearing like pit boots, caterpillar boots.
Yeah, there isn't like a safe way to do that, really, is there?
No.
Yeah. And it does, just where you're mentioning the heat and stuff, it does, there's quite a few scenes where you think it looks hot.
It's a sweaty movie. It's very sweaty.
Like
film.
people look like red. Like they've been in the sun, basically.
Yeah. I was like that bit in Police Story when all of a sudden for one scene Jackie is super fucking tanned. Yeah. Because it's somewhere in Hong Kong.
He's just like, he's had a nap outside
he fell asleep sunbathing.
Like in between shooting or something.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, I'm sunburnt as fuck. I can imagine that's how it went down.
Probably. Yeah.
I really love though. I mean, anything with Yuen Biao basically. But I randomly like the bit where he just harasses the girl into giving herself up. Basically, yeah. He just keeps talking at her until she's like, "Oh, fuck it, it's me."
Yeah, just annoys her to the point where she just gives up. Yeah,
it's so funny. Like I said, I just like it whenever he's on camera, basically.
Yeah, I would have loved like a spin-off of just his character and all the shenanigans he got up to, because he seems like a little, you know, he's a bit of a jack the lad, like dodgy geezer. Like
him and Joyce Cadenzi, give me a movie just all about them two.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I would love to have seen like a prequel about the Cambodian freedom fighters, like the three girls, because they're awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
They've all got like a unique look and personality as well.
Yeah. I mean, let's have it, I suppose, because we're talking about favourite scenes. Like, the obvious one is their introduction of those three characters. Right at the start of the movie. It's such a badass scene.
It is. Yeah.
And the way the music kicks in. It's really, really good. Like, more of that. I wish we got more of that.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I meant. Yeah, I would like more of that stuff.
Yeah.
Because, that moment where, like, she flips a guy up, so he's like, you know, his legs are, his knees are touching his shoulders, basically, then he just cuts to a close-up of his buttocks, and then him stabbing him right in the bumhole.
Yeah. It's like, oh, God almighty.
Yeah. Good old Samu. You don't get that in a Jackie movie.
No, you don't. Unexpected brutality.
It's like whenever like you're watching a Jackie movie, like you forget like maybe that Samu directed it and Jackie does something really violent. You go, what? Oh yeah, Samu directed it.
You know it's a Samu movie when a girl takes a slap or an unexpected hit, and there's a character has like a random black eye. So comedy black eye,
like an instant black eye. Yeah,
it's like one of the few telltale signs, basically.
It's funny though in this one because he was like, it needs to be grittier. It's a war movie. It's down and dirty. I can't just slap a woman. I have to cut a hand off.
He ramps it up.
Yeah, I have to maim her in some way. But also, like Dick Way. Obviously, he's not in it a lot. He's pretty much only in the last 15 minutes, but he's always a highlight.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
There's a movie of his I've been trying to track down for ages called City Warriors, and it's a rare movie where he's the lead and a good guy.
Yeah, that is right.
Imagine him coming after you like fucking Charles Bronson. That'd be terrifying.
Like, I didn't even realise he played a good guy ever. I thought he was always just the bad guy.
I honestly think it's his only lead role, and definitely one of his very few good guy roles. I'd be interested in saying.
Yeah.
He's kind of a good guy in that Mismatched Couples movie. Watch the breakdancing Donnie Yen movie. He's just kind of mental.
What about criticisms though? Critiques.
I think it's pretty much went over them. Yeah, just the weird plot points where like you think that doesn't really make sense. Like just that one bit really, and like a criticism of just I would like to see. It's not going to happen. The footage will be lost to time now, but I would like to see all the deleted stuff, like the lead up to it, all the prison stuff.
That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Like a whole other movie, basically.
It would be, yeah.
I think the only other main criticism that we're not mentioned so far for me is just the like schmaltzy feel of, you know, the two guys that like stay behind on the bridge.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind it once it gets into it, but just when those two are like lying and they've been shot and they're like, oh, you know, and it goes like somber, I just feel like they've already done this.
Yeah.
Like somber character, and I just wish they'd cut that little like 2-minute bit out of the movie and just oh fuck, I've been shot, we're gonna stay behind, and then the scene of them, you know, like getting set up and getting the gun ready and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know, just felt a little bit schmaltzy.
Yeah.
At that point in the movie, and also clearly not intended to be shown in HD because they've just got like white makeup on them.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it happens a few times in this movie. Like whenever people are like close to dying, they just suddenly have like a layer of white makeup.
They have white lips.
Yeah. But in HD, it looks like, hey, you can totally see the makeup. It's like ridiculous.
Bit of talc.
I think like one guy, you can just see it like mixing with his sweat and running off his face and stuff. It's like, oh bless him. But I guess they never thought you'd be able to see like people's hair follicles and stuff.
No, maybe not.
When they filmed it. But yeah, there isn't much. I mean, Christ, the nitpicks of this movie, I think it's such a great movie, right?
Yeah, and it's like it's just doing what it says in the tin. It's just you want like Hong Kong stars of the 80s in a war movie.
Yeah.
It's great.
Definitely.
Like if anyone is listening that never really dabbled in Hong Kong stuff but likes like Rambo movies or Vietnam movies and martial arts, like you'd be silly not to buy this.
Yeah, because I think it's quite an accessible movie. It's not like it doesn't really get lost in sensibilities or anything.
And it moves at a pace as well.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a very fast paced movie. Like there's not 5 minutes without something big happening.
No,
it's a very, very good movie.
Yes.
Definitely one of his best of the 80s, I would say.
Yeah, easily. Yeah, and I just think it's got like so much talent on show and stuff.
And like just looking at his filmography before, like, because I wasn't sure if there was any films that came in between these, but like Millionaire's Express, next film was this, and then the next film was Dragons Forever. Like that's a
crazy
hell of a 3-movie streak.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, going back Wheels on Meals, My Lucky Stars and stuff, but just these three to end the 80s with that. And then I think Pedicab Driver came after that. It's like that's 4. It's insane.
Yeah. Literally Sam on his prime, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Champion Cinema.
So what about merchandise and stuff? Is there any?
Sadly, there is not really.
Where are all these artists that like grew up on Hong Kong movies, for God's sake?
I know. It's weird. Yeah, I had a look about, but I just couldn't find anything. So yeah, very little stuff out there. No video games, obviously.
No, well, that's a shame.
Yeah, no alternative movie posters. That at least that's kind of were noticeable and worth talking about.
Yeah, I even had a look myself because I was curious yesterday, but nah.
Yeah, shame, eh? I mean, a perfect thing would be like a Sammo Hung action figure of like this look in the movie and stuff. I'd love it.
Yeah.
Like, where are these like 1/6 companies that are even based in Hong Kong, and you think they would be like wanting to do Sammo Hung action figures?
I know, I don't really like. I wonder what the perception is now in Hong Kong of like 80s, 90s action movie. Like, what's the thought on like are they still held in like high regard or what? I have no idea.
No, me neither. Like we hold them in that regard, but maybe it's old hat or something.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Yeah. Because if there was going to be any art, it would have been on like a Blu-ray release. But Eureka, I'll get into like the Blu-ray release. Like Eureka released it in a triple pack with Magnificent Butcher and Iron Fisted Monk, and it was just kind of like a photo montage on the cover. So I think if it had its own singular release, we would have had some new art.
Yeah.
But sadly not. But yeah, like I said, that release is well worth picking up. You got two classic 70s kung fu movies plus Eastern Condors. All the movies look stunning. And like I said, it's the first time it's been available uncut, but it's not that much to write home about. It's just a snake at its head.
Yeah, you could easily do without that bit in the film, to be fair.
But it's packed with extras. Like I said, you've got the old export version with the classic dub in HD as well. Interviews, all the usual good. It's a very good release.
Yeah, definitely. I think just for the pure quality, like how the film looks.
Yeah,
I think a lot of Hong Kong movies do tidy up well anyway, or at least the main ones, the Jackie Chan,
the Golden Harvest ones and stuff. Yeah.
But I think this one in particular, probably just because where they filmed it in like bright sunlight.
Yeah.
So it looks like really, really nice, the film throughout.
Yeah, it looks stunning. There's certain shots I was like, Jesus Christ, I'd keep reminding myself it was a Hong Kong movie from 1987.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Champion Cinema.
So, They Live, released in 1988 with a runtime of 1 hour 34 minutes, directed by Jonathan Carpenter, starring at this point, WWE wrestler Roddy Piper, who plays Nada. Keith David, who previously was in the Thing movie, obviously, and was a carryover from that, pretty much, playing Frank. The crazy-looking Meg Foster as Holly.
Oh, yes. Yep.
George Buckflower as the Drifter.
And is it a standard role as a homeless
Basically, playing to type.
Yeah.
And Peter Jason as Gilbert, or Peter Jason, the guy from Mortal Kombat, as I always remember him by.
Shit, he is Mortal Kombat, isn't he?
Randomly at the start of the movie, 10-minute cameo or whatever he's
He's
got.
in a few. He's in like Prince of Darkness, I think, as well.
Yeah.
But I completely forgot he's in fucking Mortal
pops up.
Kombat.
One of them guys that you think, oh yeah, I know him, and then you look at his IMDb and go, he's
I
not
think
been
he
in that
looks.
many
He
films.
looks like three different. He looks a bit like Tom Arnold and a few other actors.
Yeah, just one of them guys. A whole bunch of other people, but I think I don't know, it's quite a small cast of important characters, really.
Yeah, pretty much. Those are the main ones.
Yeah. So then, what's it all about, though?
Well, when hard-working construction worker and drifter John Nada stumbles upon the truth that Earth is nothing more than a business controlled by an alien race who hide in plain sight and are only detectable whilst wearing special sunglasses, it's up to him, his new co-worker Frank, and a group of rebels to take down the aliens and wake everyone else up to the truth. They live, we sleep. So it's based on a short story called 8 o'clock in the morning by Ray Nelson, which I read recently.
Oh, did you?
You can find it free online. It's only 6 pages long. It's a very good story, though.
Is it?
I always knew the plot of the story is it starts with the main character Nada, who's George in the story, waking up at being snapped. It said he's at like a hypnotism event, and the hypnotist snaps everyone out of it, and then all of a sudden he can see all the aliens around him.
Yeah, right.
And from then on, basically, the story is just the point in the film where Roddy Piper wakes up and he starts knocking them off left, right, and centre.
Right.
And then he goes to the TV station. It's so to take that and make it, it's such a good adaptation. If you like, it just takes 6 pages and make this movie out of it. So
Cool.
I would highly recommend giving it a read. Yeah.
I guess Carpenter just had that knack at this point in his career for taking stuff like that and
He did,
making a
'cause
mad movie.
You can certainly see where the ideas came from reading that story,
Yeah.
and how much he just expanded on it and stuff. Because just how he makes it into just a big. Because I think the story was written in the 60s, but Carpenter makes it into a big criticism of the 80s, basically, of yuppies and capitalism and all that stuff, and it works so well.
I love love and hate at the same time, but how some twats have tried to hijack the idea of it being a commentary on Jewish people and stuff.
Yeah, I was thinking that while watching. I was like, there's going to be some people who take this film the wrong way.
Yeah, and literally have I guess saying Jewish people control the media and all that sort of stuff. And it's
I can see why someone with a particular mindset would look at the film and probably think that.
Yeah, I guess that's the trouble with interpretation and whatnot. So but I think that has pissed John Carpenter off in the past.
No, he came out and pretty much said no.
Yeah,
please, no, it's not. It's bad.
But yeah, really great idea. It's certainly not a unique or original idea. Invasion of the Body Snatchers type stuff, basically. That, you know, the planet is being secretly overrun by an alien race and stuff.
Yeah.
But I just love the twist of, like, you know, the sunglasses and the fact that, I mean, firstly, I love just the black and white and the, like, almost dreamlike feeling when he puts the glasses on.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. I don't know if it's, like, in a slower frame rate or a higher frame rate or something, but there's
Probably is.
there's something going on that just makes it feel...
And it's not just the fact it's black and white. Yeah, it does have a particular feel to it, doesn't it? Yeah.
But yeah, I just love that there's no, like... I don't know, it doesn't spoon feed you what's going on, really.
No.
Until a bit later on in the movie when you start getting facts. But when he's putting the sunglasses on and stuff initially, you're kind of like, what the fuck? Where's this going?
You're in his shoes. Pretty much,
Yeah, really cool.
But yeah, let's talk about Roddy Piper. Before The Rock and Batista, this was the best performance in a movie by a wrestler. And I don't mean, I'm not saying for a wrestler, I just mean it's just a good, solid performance.
Yeah, I mean, I grabbed this quote from him. He jump-started the wrestler turned actor migration.
He did, yeah.
And he's quoted as saying, "I was the first wrestler ever in the history of wrestling to star in a major studio motion picture that became #1 box office of the weekend. And that gave the itch to I don't know how many wrestlers. And not one of them to this day has put out a quality picture like this.
Exactly.
And not one of them has had a #1 hit like this." So he was, I mean, up until, God rest his soul, up until he died, he was probably right, basically.
Yeah, he was.
Many wrestlers tried after and failed up until, like you said, The Rock and Batista and stuff.
Yeah, because I like the fact that Carpenter was, I think, maybe, I don't know if he still is, but at least was in the 80s a wrestling fan, and you can see him in the crowd at WrestleMania 3, and that's where he met Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
And the reason Roddy Piper left was because he's been in the news a lot lately. We're not going to talk about it, but Vince McMahon wanted to be involved. Yeah. Once the role was offered, he's like, "No, I think it's just I want to go make a movie." And he's like, "Well, it's got to be a you know what Vince is like."
Yeah, he'll have wanted something out of it, basically.
Some percentage or a fucking producer. He probably wanted to write the script or something.
Yeah, he wanted midgets in it or something. Probably small people.
Something fucking classic. I was going to say something else there about the recent year award.
No, let's not get drawn into it.
No, let's not get drawn to the recent news. But so Roddy Piper was like, no, and just left and did it on his own. Good for him.
And it's crazy, really. I don't know. You just wouldn't think Roddy Piper would be right for the role, maybe from his wrestling career at the time. But such a talented guy, crazy good.
He's got a hell of a charisma, which he always did in wrestling. You look at his promos and stuff. The guy had the gift of the gab. He could talk. He could communicate and stuff. But there's a good point though, because I was going to bring this up. I've never really thought of this before until watching it this time. But I wonder if at any point Carpenter had Kurt Russell in mind for the role and was going to, because he reteams with Keith David, it would be like a little thing reunion. But because he would think of Russell in the role, he'd be perfect for it.
Yeah, I think I did do a little bit of perusing of the IMDb trivia. And however, it might not be reliable, but it did say John Carpenter's initial plan was to have Kurt Russell, but he
it was
but he realised close to production starting that he probably shouldn't just have yet another Kurt Russell movie, because he had done a whole line of them already. Yeah,
because they did space out the collaborations, I guess.
Yeah. So I could probably believe it. Probably just early in the film's production, and then he changed his mind. I could believe.
Yeah, I can imagine it crossed his mind.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it just seems like a perfect fit for Russell, really, the role.
Yeah, definitely. But God, one thing I wanted to mention is just Roddy Piper's physique. He's jacked as fuck in the film.
On the commentary, he mentions that because I never remember him looking that big in WWF.
No.
So I'm guessing maybe he just got pumped up for the movie.
Yeah, definitely.
He always looked in shape, but he never looked bulging.
I think a guy whose career involves being topless and stuff, and that when he gets his big break of being in a big motion picture sort of hit, he's probably going to hit the gym and all sorts of shit and really be conscious about how he looks. Probably
because he mentions on the commentary, that's it, the Roddy Piper and John Carpenter commentary, which is really good.
I love it.
He says when this film came out, people came up to me and said that you'd put my head on a different actor's body. John Carpenter just goes, "What?" John Carpenter's reaction's so good, just what the fuck are they talking about?
No, it's a really good commentary. I don't know if it's just Carpenter, the John Carpenter effect, but all these commentaries are really good.
They are.
He always seems like it's like two mates just watching a film back together.
Especially the Russell, like, you know, the Thing ones. All the ones with Kurt Russell and John Carpenter. Because you always get the impression, it always seems like the first 10 minutes, just them catching up, like they haven't seen each other for a while.
Definitely.
It's really nice. Yeah, bless Roddy, though. Like, he really praises John Carpenter to the point where I think like John Carpenter's really embarrassed on the commentary at certain points.
Yeah, because I can't remember if this is on the commentary or not, but like he says something like, "Oh, you know, at this point you've made way more movies than me." Like John Carpenter talking to Roddy Piper, but like Roddy Piper's like, yeah, but like all your films are good, sort of thing.
Yeah, he says something like, "I've never worked with a director as good as you again." Though.
Yeah.
John Carpenter's like, "Oh, stop it, please."
It's a strange thing about this film that it was so big, really.
It was a big hit, yeah.
But then like had a really like swift drop off, didn't it? Apparently, like. I don't know, it just doesn't strike me as when films, some of John Carpenter's films that like flopped and stuff, like really annoyingly, but like this one was like a big success. I would have flipped it around. Some of the Big Trouble in Little China, I would have thought would have been a much bigger film.
Yeah, if you compare the two as far as like mainstream appeal, you would think Big Trouble in Little China would be the big smash hit movie, and this would be like the cult. I mean, they're both cult favorites, but you think this would be the one that was like made less. But no, it opened number one at the weekend, cost $3 million, made 13.
Yeah.
And that's the sad thing, that it didn't lead on to more lead roles in Hollywood for Roddy Piper. No. He kind of like slipped into sort of B-movie territory and stuff.
Yeah, really strange.
Which is fine, but I mean, I would like to have seen him in more Carpenter movies, to be honest with you. I think it'd make a good pair.
Just tough to like break that mold, you know, like a wrestler and stuff. And
so I was gonna say, meanwhile, like I think it was the next year, fucking Hulk Hogan comes out with No Holds Barred, and he makes like 80 fucking movies that make money. Yeah. That are all terrible. Yeah. It's like the wrestling feud carried over into movies, and Hogan went over.
Bastard.
But of course, you got the always reliable, silky voice of Mr. Keith David, who always loved.
Yes. Yeah, I do love his character. I love that he's just like a no bullshit sort of guy. Like he literally is just a working class sort of guy who's just like, I don't want any part in this.
Yeah.
And he just gets sucked into it very, very forcefully.
The bit I always love is when, obviously, it's just after Roddy Piper's went on his rampage and shot loads of people. And he keeps trying to get him to turn the glasses, try the glasses on, and Keith just goes, "Look, you mother!"
Yeah,
you crazy mother.
Oh, bless him. Keith David's like very similar. Where like I wish he had a much bigger career. You know, he's in like two very, very good films, and
he's done a lot of stuff. But I know what you mean. Yeah,
like I don't know, just like more leading man sort of stuff and that. And,
weird fucking. Like twist of fate, like he ended up doing loads of narration on WWE documentaries on the network back in the day.
Yeah, of course, yeah, it's random.
It was nice to see him turn up in The Nice Guys a few years ago.
Yeah.
But I guess we should talk about, you know, the moment in the movie everyone remembers, besides some of the one-liners, is like the big fight scene between Roddy Piper. How long is it? Is it
5 minutes?
5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes and something, basically. Yeah. But yeah, I love that it was only supposed to be like a short 30-second thing or something, apparently. But they just rehearsed the shit out of it in like Roddy Piper's backyard or something. And so when they approached John Carpenter and went, "We've got this whole thing," and Carpenter was like, "I go on then."
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Just left it in.
Yeah, because it's one of those things that it gets funnier the longer it goes on, because it's just two grown men fighting over sunglasses when you boil it down.
Yeah, I love the bit when Keith David like kind of he walks away and like rests against the wall, and you think it's over.
Yeah.
And Roddy Piper like slowly approaches him, and then just like digs him in the ribs or something.
Yeah, it's like, I love that little moment where like it's a genuine moment where he goes to hit him with a piece of wood, then apologises, and then Keith David goes to smash the bottle and it just breaks in his hand, and Roddy Piper just laughs at him.
Yeah, that's definitely a flub that they just left in.
Do you think it's a flub?
All right, so Roddy Piper's reaction is too genuine.
I was going to say it's a very genuine reaction.
Yeah, he just kind of laughs, and you can see it in his eye. He like kind of breaks character, but
I just wonder, I just wonder if, like, because obviously it's like two different takes, obviously, of like him smashing the bottle. I wonder if that's what he's laughing at, or if he's laughing at something else.
He slipped or something.
Yeah. It's just, that just adds something special to that bit. I don't know. I like the little realistic bits.
Yeah.
In the fight where it's two just blokes who don't hate each other.
No.
They don't want to hate each other.
No. But they're also like two very capable sort of working class guys.
Stubborn.
Yeah, very stubborn. Like both worked on building sites and are just not willing to relent.
I love that moment after the fight where they're just both walking along the street just looking like busted up pieces of shit.
Big bruises and stuff.
And I'm sure as well, I think we've talked about this before. Like, I think we watched it together a few years ago, didn't we? When I was at yours.
Yeah.
Like the hotel they go to, I'm sure that's the same hotel from Loaded Weapon, where they like wheel out Whoopi Goldberg's corpse and stuff.
Yeah, it has that look, doesn't it? Yeah, the architecture and stuff.
Yeah.
But the one-liners as well, obviously, like you mentioned. I think there's so many. Probably the main one for me is the, I've come here to chew bubble gum and kick ass.
Yeah.
I think his delivery of that line, the timing and stuff's crazy.
I think he goes into this on the commentary as well. Like the one-liners, most of them were taken from a notebook that he used to keep for his wrestling promos.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Yeah, because when you think about it in context, that line comes out of nowhere. Like, how come all of a sudden he's like Bruce Campbell?
His character has not been like that until that moment.
He's been quite quietly spoken. All of a sudden, he's got a shotgun. He's a badass, but it's just perfect. I wouldn't change it.
No, and I love that when you flip that scene around to like the other people in the bank, like what the fuck? Some guy just walks in, delivers that line, and starts shotgunning cops to the face.
Yeah, exactly.
Like what must they think? They're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy, that scene.
Yeah, there's a few other good ones. I like you look like your face fell in the cheese dip in 1957. It's a good one. And you're okay. You, real fucking ugly.
Yeah. What's the point when you call somebody like formaldehyde face or something?
Yeah, formaldehyde face. Yeah.
I always laugh at that.
At the moment that like probably would have been, I don't know if it is in the trailer, but maybe just got swearing it was when he's like, life's a bitch and just back in heat.
Yeah.
That's a good line.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that's another like Roddy Piperism, definitely.
Oh, that's definitely a Roddy Piper line.
And one interesting thing that I thought when I was watching it, because I've been playing Half-Life 2 a lot recently, like over the last couple of weeks, just replaying through it. And like obviously the bit when it all kicks off at night, and the cops arrive and the bulldozer and shit, and everyone's running, and the priest is getting battered and stuff. Yeah, it really made us feel of like the start sequence, the first early moments of Half-Life 2, when like the Combine are there and stuff. And I could be wrong, but I just reckon like the people that made that game were like heavily influenced, probably. Well,
it's one of those movies. I mean, the chew bubblegum line was used in Duke Nukem. It's one of those things where like people either say, "Oh, it's Duke Nukem," or "If They Live." You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's something about the like dystopianness of it, like the line of cops and the fact that like Roddy Piper's kind of walking past them slowly. And shit's going on in the background. I don't know, it just really struck me that this time watching it.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever played Half-Life 2.
Yeah, God, it's crazy to me that. Oh my God.
Never a PC game.
I guess. Well, there you go. I'm going to have to sit you down and get you to play the opening moments of Half-Life 2.
Just play the whole game.
What about the bit when Roddy Piper quickly shuffles over the bridge and looks back? I always think of Geordie Star Wars.
I know, it's so hard. I watched Unforgiven the other day. It was so hard not to think of Geordie Star Wars.
It's ruined many movies, has Geordie Star Wars.
Yeah, for those unaware, Geordie Star Wars was like this bootleg tape that went. I don't know how widespread it was. I did find it online once. Yeah. But it's basically just the original trilogy re-edited with like some Geordie lads dubbing some lines, plus like sound bites from other. Like Yoda is just Clint Eastwood in Unforgiven, like all his lines. Billy D. Williams, like Lando, is Samuel L. Jackson from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, you got like the Colonel from Rambo's, like Tarkin and stuff.
Tarkin, yeah. Which, Jesus Christ, yeah. Every time I watch First Blood, like that's another one where I just think of Geordie Star Wars.
But yeah, there's like an advert intermission, and there's literally just, and I think like, I don't know. Obviously, I saw Geordie Star Wars probably before I saw They Live, so I kind of like it was weird to me, like watching They Live finally and going, oh, that's a bit from Jodie Thomas. That's what it's from.
Yeah. I think it may be the same for me because, to be honest, like growing up, I didn't see They Live till quite late.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was one of the last like 80s Carpenter movies, probably in like my 20s by the time I saw it.
Yeah, same.
But we didn't talk about the lovely Meg Foster.
Crazy looking girl.
Is it just because of Evil Lynn? Or is it too obvious she's going to turn heel?
I think it's too obvious. Like, she just looks like a wrong'un.
Yeah, and it's no fault of hers. She's just got such an intense look.
Yeah, she just has an evilness about her. So you're like, yeah, she's evil. Great part in the movie, but you see it a mile off. And also, and this is just my personal preference, like, I hate the way Keith David goes out of the movie. To be honest,
it's one of those no.
Like,
even if I've seen it a million times, every time it happens, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, I would have preferred if he'd gone out a different way. To be honest, with me personally, but it is what it is.
It is.
But yeah, very good. It's sad that she doesn't really have a massive career either. Meg Foster.
No, but she pops up in some surprising places now and then, though. Like, she was in, she's done a few movies with Rob Zombie.
Yeah, true.
She turned up in one little scene in Twin Peaks: The Return a few years ago.
Right, cool.
Yeah, which was because she just plays like a teller at a casino, and I was like, is that Meg Foster?
I guess she's just very much like a cult sort of actress,
she definitely
basically.
Is. Yeah. But as for highlights, obviously the fight scene, like I said, that's obviously, if anyone's seen this film, that's the first thing that's going to pop in their head. Yeah. Besides sunglasses and bubble gum, it's the fight scene. Yeah. I do think as well the score is one of the more underappreciated, like Carpenter and Alan Howard's score. Like that guitar riff is perfect. It's perfect for the main character, the Nada character.
Yeah. It's such a nice intro as well. Like,
with the spray. I love the title being spray painted as it pans. That's so cool.
And then the train going by. Mm-hmm. Very little dialogue, really, for a big chunk of the opening of the movie. Like, it's a very slow, sort of quiet, ponderous, and then, like you said, the music, the do. Yeah, it really sets the tone for the movie. Yeah,
it's the same way he opens Prince of Darkness as well. That has a kind of similar intro where, like, it's like 10 minutes of quiet setup, isn't it? Really? Yeah. Classic Carpenter.
Oh yes.
Any more highlights we didn't really talk about? I mean, what do you think of it? What do you think of the ending? Do you like the ending? I love the ending.
Yeah, like all the stuff on the rooftop and stuff, and
then the reveal of like the aliens, like everyone can see them now and stuff.
Yeah,
it's very funny.
Yeah, the girl on top of the alien and stuff.
Yeah, it's such a good like jokey final shot. It's very funny.
I really love some of the like sci-fi-ness of it. I love the fact that the aliens are like getting to Earth and back via like it's described as like a gravitational lens. Yeah, and I think it's such a like intricate and intriguing idea because it's always like spaceships and transporters, but it's almost like the dip into like real science that like a gravitational lens could be like something that bends gravity so that you're traveling faster than the speed of light using like gravity. So I don't know, it's like super nerdy. And it's just a throwaway line that's in the movie, but it just always like caught my attention that like, I want to know more about this gravitational lens technology.
Yeah, I do like that quick shot as well when you see them going like bouncing out of Earth and stuff like across space.
You can see it's like a window into space basically. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's such a throwaway little moment, but it's like, that's dead interesting. That
I do love the way they use Buck Flowers' character as just a plot device, like a exposition dump character for that moment. But it works really well because he's just sold out.
Yeah, he just quickly turns up and goes, "Well, boys, here it is. This is what's going on."
And he's just too blinded by everything that he just doesn't really realise they all look a bit haggard and beat up.
It's interesting, obviously, that his character doesn't get a comeuppance, right? He just poofs out the movie. He just uses his watch. He goes, "See you, boys," and then disappears. And it's like,
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I wonder what happened to him in canon. There you go. They live too. Get it made.
The Buck Flower story. Another little weird thing I always notice is the PK meter from Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Like the same prop.
Yeah, I can't remember vaguely if that was like something else and it was already borrowed. It was like a reused thing in Ghostbusters. I vaguely have in my mind.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I think vaguely I've got it in my mind like that it was already something else. Like it
So
wasn't.
it was already a borrowed prop type.
Yeah, it wasn't like created for Ghostbusters. I could be wrong, but I just think vaguely in my head. I think the last time maybe I watched it and I noticed it, I looked it up and saw something about that.
Just get Dan Aykroyd on the phone.
Yeah, he would know.
He would know.
Champion Cinema.
But what about merchandise and stuff? Surely there's some good poster art for that.
There certainly is. Actually, that's one thing I forgot to do. I didn't show you.
You didn't send me the posters.
Well, let's do live reactions, I guess.
Live reactions. That's what the people live for these days. Reactions.
Exactly. That's what the young ones like. So, Christopher Cox. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different artwork and whatnot. Elvis Dead. Flory's done a really nice print. Oliver Barrett. Patrick Conan, Stephen Luras.
It's one of those like movies that's just so visually interesting. Like the design of the aliens, like the Piper with the shotgun and glasses. Like it's no surprise. There's loads of
there's just a raft,
artwork.
Absolute raft of stuff. And obviously, just lastly, Matt Ferguson in 2016 did a piece of art which was reused for the Blu-rays that came out.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, really nice. But yeah, there's an absolute boatload of alternative movie poster art for this film.
That is the thing about Carpenter movies. You're always going to get, at least, as far as artwork goes, a shed load.
Yeah, there's a lot of love out there for his stuff.
Yeah.
I would really like a Nada action figure as well, like a 1/6 action figure.
That would be great, yeah. Like a Nada and like a sort of generic alien in a suit.
Yeah. And
perfect double pack.
I feel like I have seen bits and bobs of like the aliens and stuff. There's all sorts of merchandise, but no like high end sort of collectible of a really nice sculpt of Roddy Piper and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you can get. I don't know if they still do them, but Trick or Treat Studios did an alien mask.
Yeah.
A while ago.
Yeah.
I think they're still available.
Yeah. I love the look of the aliens. I didn't really specifically say it.
No.
But like, it's simple, crappy, but cool at the same time. It's a mix of things, really.
It's a very unique look.
Yeah, definitely. But really like it. Yeah, just like rotten sort of humans, basically. Were like almost like skeletal looking.
Yeah.
But then the mad colours and stuff, I don't know, it's just really visually interesting. And yeah, translates really well into art as well.
I remember seeing the trailer when I was a kid on like the start of a video I'd rented and it freaked us out. Like the look of the aliens, just because it was that bit when he's like, "What's your problem?" when he's at the news stand. I was like, "Yeah." Fast forwarded it.
Yeah, and in black and white as well, it has such a like creepy vibe to it.
It does.
Where the eyes kind of glow and stuff.
Yeah.
Mad.
But as for Blu-ray, because I guess there was never a video game, sadly.
No, not even on the NES.
No, where everything had a video game. For the Blu-ray, in the UK, they just said before, Studio Canal released like a 4K Blu-ray collector set in 2018, which I think you got all them, didn't you? The Carpenter releases?
Yeah, 4K. I'm really happy I did. I forgot that they were in 4K as well. So like when I was checking my collection, I was like, oh cool, I've got like They Live in 4K and stuff.
Yeah.
I bought them before I had a 4K player, basically, to explain that better.
Oh, it's stocking up. They also did at the same time Escape from New York, Prince of Darkness, and The Fog. All those collector's editions, and like they did steelbooks as well. They're all out of print now, but you can still get standard 4Ks and Blu-rays. The only thing that's different is the collector's edition came with art cards, a poster, and the soundtrack.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming we watched we watched it in 4K when I was at yours, and it looks stunning, as you can imagine. I've got the old Studio Canal Blu-ray from a few years before, and that looks amazing as well. So Carpenter movies are always well looked after, thankfully.
I was gonna say, they're always gonna look good on.
Yeah. And as for the US, Shout Factory put it out. It's pretty much the same extras. I think there's like one extra that's not on the Studio Canal one, like a panel discussion that must be from like a convention or something. But other than that, pretty much the same. So take your pick, really. Yeah,
definitely. Lots of love for it, and rightly so. It's a very good film.
It's a classic. Yeah, would you say it's John Carpenter's last great movie?
Yeah, probably.
Because the film after this was it Memoirs of Invisible Man? I think so.
Yes, I'm tempted to say. Yeah, God, I'm thinking back.
Which is just one of those things that I keep forgetting that I was like, fucking Chevy Chase and John Carpenter.
Yeah, that's a strange pairing, really.
I think because obviously I saw Memoirs of Invisible Man when I was a kid, just purely for Chevy Chase. And then getting older and getting into John Carpenter's movies and being like, what? John Carpenter directed that? What the fuck?
Yeah, it's very strange. I mean, I enjoyed the movie. overall. But
I remember, and I honestly haven't seen it for 15, 20 years.
it just has a funny vibe about it, though.
That may be something we should revisit on the show.
Yeah, definitely. I was thinking about that. It's been a couple of years. I think Chevy Chase kind of does well in it, but it's maybe from memory, it's an unusual choice for a main character in that type of movie. There's something about it.
Who's the female lead now? Is it Daryl Hannah?
Yes.
Yeah. Crazy cast.
Yeah, definitely.
And great effects, from what I remember.
Yeah, for the time, definitely. And lots of clever ideas for Invisible Man and what they would do with it and stuff. Yeah. There's a bit when he's is he eating or something or drinking from memory? And you can see
that's cool.
Yeah. But because I think after just looking on his IMDb, it reminded myself In the Mouth of Madness.
Oh yeah.
Village of the Damned, but then Escape from LA. That's when you start getting. I mean, I know people love Escape from LA now. Weirdly,
I've just never thought it's as bad as a tribute. People just fucking glom onto that fucking surfing bit at the end.
Yeah, well, it's quite bad.
Judge it's bad, but don't judge the entire movie for it. You know what I mean?
It's like going to a really cool party, but then you get stabbed multiple times. You're not going to remember that party as being good.
What a way to put it. That should be on the poster. It's like going to a party and then getting stabbed at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and then forever remembering that party as being the worst party you ever went to. Because it's just
everything leading up to it was decent though.
Because it spoils it for me that end scene. But then obviously Carpenter really doubled down and he was like, I'm just gonna make vampires. Fuck it.
Oh, let's be vampires is fun. Come on.
It's okay, I guess, but yeah, it's only because of James Woods.
Well, yeah,
chewing the scenery.
Yeah, and no, Cheryl Lee looks hot. In
Yeah,
that movie,
true. But it has that whole scene that I always hate, where it's forget what you've seen in the movies, and it's oh no, don't do this. You're better than this, Carpenter. But anyway,
I think In the Mouth of Madness is not underrated. It's got its fans, but that's another good one as well.
Yeah,
it kind of gets forgotten about sometimes, I think.
A film that's got lots of alternative movie poster art as well. It's always a good barometer of how popular it is in the cult circles and stuff.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's got some great visuals in it, that movie. Yeah. So that's Eastern Condors and They Live. A lot of fun. 2 very, very good movies.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and
two big favourites.
And just talking about Carpenter at the end has just made us want to do more Carpenter movies. To be fair, so we should probably do that.
Yeah, we should do some more next month, February.
Yeah.
We're going to probably do some Burt Reynolds next month. At least one show on Burt Reynolds. It's his birthday next month. Every show this year is just going to be it's his birthday this month. So let's review his movies.
It's like an easy randomizer, basically.
It is. Yeah, definitely. Of course, we haven't decided what we're going to do yet because we're all a bit kerfuffled at the moment on the show. But it's a fresh new start and all that. So it's been very stressful here at the offices.
It has. Yeah, well, it's had lots of focus groups and stuff. And
here at CK Enterprises. So hope you enjoyed the show, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. I haven't set up all the social media and stuff yet, so I can't really plug it out.
Yeah, so don't like us on all the various social media platforms because we haven't got that set up yet. Yeah.
So until next week, folks, I will see you doing the pit.
See you in the heap.
Champion Cinema.